welcome to another edition of MoyaTalks. This is the first edition of our art and music series, and I get to talk with a guy I don't really like, but I think he's going to make a great guest for this series. We have a special guest. His name is Braulio Diaz. You may know him. He might have helped you. He might have caused you any troubles working in the company. I don't know. But today he joins us not as a graphic designer, but as a musician. I don't know if you knew that he has been in music for 16 years now. He's responsible for 4 albums with his band, 1 EP with his solo music, and he has recorded and produced around 50 albums for other bands. So we welcome Braulio Diaz to our series. Thank you, Braulio, for accepting the invitation, as if you had
Oh,
another
thank you.
chance.
Yes, it was part of. Okay, so this is your task for this weekend. Now, thank you for the invite. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, Braulio. So I know your origin story, but people in Moya don't know your origin story. So let's start with this question. How did you start dabbling with music? And how did it evolve into a musical career?
Well, my father and my mother, they are very musical. We've always had music in our home. From like the two versions, we had the pop version with my mother and the rock version with my father. So I think I got the best of both worlds. And there was always music somehow. And I've always liked to create since I was a kid. I've always liked to draw, to create my own comics, my own videos. I think I did my first web page when I was like 11 or 12. It was a horrible one, but so I always like creating. And when I saw the opportunity of creating with a guitar, my mother had this old guitar that still, and I started like I didn't know what a chord was. It was tuned. I just started doing my own music. I just started creating. So when I learned a little bit more, I saw that there was some talent, and that I really liked doing that. I like creating in general, but I really enjoy doing music. So eventually, with the years, with more this became just part of my life, and just part of how I express myself. I always say that I don't know how to express myself better than with music. And that's it.
And what was the first time you felt you belonged on stage? You say, this is what I really want to do.
I took some theater lessons when I were classes when I was a kid, and I like the idea of being on stage. I was very shy actually after before that, and after that I just something cracked, and I the Braulio came out. And so that was the first time that I said, okay, this is something I like doing. But it's funny because I ensembled a band with some friends from the university, and literally the first time we played was in a Halloween party, and I had this Cats costume because I participated in Cats the musical, uh, and I decided to wear that. So the first time I played on a costume, and I was very like I don't know like out there, and I jumped, and I was on the floor playing the solos, and we played horribly because it was like our first gig ever. But I don't know, everybody was like so excited, and I decided, okay, this is something I'm not doing it for them. This really came out from my heart. So and people are enjoying it. Okay, I think being on the stage is something I want to do. And since then, I've been doing the same. With the years, it's more difficult to get on the floor, and mostly to stand up from the floor to get up from the floor. But it's something I still do.
You haven't seen him in concert, but he's a little Jimi Hendrix on stage.
Yeah, I get a little bit energetic.
Right. At first, you didn't know how to sing,
I still don't.
and we were not very receptive to your singing. But that speaks to your determination. Can you speak about that? How did you decide that you were going to be a good singer?
I'm stubborn. That's probably one of my defects or one of my best qualities. I'm very stubborn. So yes, when my father actually came and said, "You should get another singer," I said, "No, I'm going to sing, and I'm going to start singing better." And yes, if you listen to our first recordings, I am singing like that, and I don't understand why. And since then, I've been obviously practicing. I can do things with my voice, with my throat that I didn't, that I couldn't 20 years ago. Well, 16 years ago, but I still don't know how to sing. I still have problems, like doing this exercise to do it correctly or professionally. And that's my area of work that I need to to put more attention on. But I think I sing good enough, and I think my voice is good enough to be able to have a band.
One of the things I've always admired of you is that you refuse to play somebody else's music. You were always a composer from the first. Um, how do you explain that, and how do you start convincing other people? Let's play our own material.
I like writing. I don't know when exactly that came out, but I really like writing. I don't know if I'm a good writer or not, but I do like writing. And so when I found that in music you can express yourself by actually singing, sending a message, that's when I said, okay, I want to do this. Why am I singing other person's message? And I don't know who they are. I mean, you may love one of your favorite artists, but maybe they are, I don't know, bad people. So I want to sing my messages, right? My stories, and I decided to. And I think the problem with playing other people's music is that you enter a comfort zone in there that it's difficult to get out there. I know a lot of people who started playing their own music and then they found an economical opportunity in playing covers or other people's music, and they didn't get out of there anymore because there was this economic incentive. And I'm not saying that's bad or good, but I'm saying that maybe a lot of talent is not being, like, uh, taken advantage of. I didn't know how to say that in English. Aprovechado. Because of them, like, using their time in other things, right? So that's in a more adult way. And when I was a kid, it's because as I said, I didn't know how to play. I didn't know that it was an E or it was a C. So I just started going until something that sounded good came out, and that's why that's why basically I still do.
Well, you don't give enough credit to yourself. I'm going to tell an anecdote,
Okay.
one of my favorite anecdotes. One day I was visiting Braulio and I was laying on the couch. He was with a band he was producing at the moment. They were recording and they were musicians from the conservatory. So they were really good. They were very good with their instruments. And they were trying to do a progressive album, kind of Pink Floyd sounding. And it sounded terrible. Like all of them were really good, but the music sounded terrible. So I was laying on the couch. Braulio gets up, stops the recording, goes to the stereo, picks up a Beatles album, puts the Beatles album on, and he says, three chords, and they sound much better than you. So my question is, how difficult is to produce another musician and to convince him of what you believe?
Uh, I don't think you have to convince them. That's something I learned with time. Maybe your anecdote. I like it and it's funny, but maybe that's something I shouldn't have done, right? I think you don't have to convince nobody. I think what's important as a producer is that you have to listen to a lot of music. You need to listen to rap, to reggaeton, to reggae, to salsa to cumbia. Otherwise, how are you going to produce music, right? If you get stuck in a line, and this, I think this applies for everything, design, interiors, whatever. It's like if you only know one area of your work, it's like you're going to do the same always, right? And I think it's important that we try to understand our context, understand what's happening. And if I have a progressive band and I have never listened to King Crimson or to Dream Theater, I don't know what they are doing, right? But when you do, it's like, okay, I know how to guide you. So I think what I try to do with this Beatles example is like, you can do whatever you have to do, but do it good. Maybe you don't have to all the time. Maybe you just have to play. But if you do it correctly, that's exactly what you're supposed to do in that part of the song or in that song, and that's your part on it. And I think that's a message that applies to life in general. It's, you don't have to always be doing or showing all your talents. Maybe in one situation in particular, you just have to do something, and that's teamwork. That's knowing how to do things. So producing is basically that, is saying, okay, I think this could sound better. That's my opinion. What do you think, right? And maybe showing it. And if not, okay, don't get angry, don't get frustrated, because as I used to do when I was younger, right? But right now it's like, okay, it's your music. It's your music. I gave you my opinion. If you want to do it like this, okay, perfect. And most of the times, I have to say that my opinion is appreciated, and I think we have created a lot of great music, all styles here in Mexico. A lot of bands recognize me like the guy who made bad sounds sound good. bad bands sound good. Which is also another problem, because if you make a bad band sound good, then when you see them live, it's like, okay, what is this? But well, that's not part of my producer's job, right?
You kind of answered my next question, but still, how has this process of producing other people help you evolve as a musician?
You learn from everybody, and again, this applies in every area of life. You learn every time you pay attention to something. You learn. So even if it's people you don't like, if it's a work you don't like, if it's a music song that you don't like, you can learn from it, right? Maybe you can learn what not to do, or you can learn what are the things that are working on that specific thing, right? So while working with a lot of musicians, obviously you learn about technique, you learn about chords, you learn about music, you learn about producing, you learn about recording, because not all musicians are completely ignorant on how to do something, right? I mean, producing or engineering wise. So you learn a lot from them, and that basically I absorb all that information as I try to do in everything. I learn from you guys when you send me something that it's architecture and I don't know nothing about architecture. I try to learn and try to squeeze the most out of every piece of information that I get from you, and I think that's how I grew up as a person, obviously as a musician and as a producer, obviously.
How do you keep going in an industry like music industry? And where do you find the drive to keep not only composing, producing, but also opening doors that were not there for you when you were growing up?
I say it in Spanish, it sounds better than in English, but I say no vivo de la música, pero me mantiene vivo, which would be like, I don't live out of music, but it keeps me alive, right? It's what keeps me alive. And I have to say it, and I say it with pride, is every design that I do in Moya, every presentation I do has underneath, has on the background, the idea that I will be able to make more music with everything that I do in my life, right? Music is what I live for. So how do I keep going? For me, it's easy, because this is what I do. This is the only way I know how to express. My mother says, Braulio expresses very well with music, and I am like, no, this is the only way I really know how to express my feelings, who I am. So for me, it's easy, and that's a privilege. But for a lot of people, it's difficult. They have maybe a family to support, or a situation in particular that they it's more difficult. They need to maybe get outside of music and get a well-paid job. And I don't know. I think I would say just follow your passions, as Paola was saying the other day in one of the team meetings. Follow your passion, and always try to find time to do your passions. And I really know it's not possible all the time, and it's really a privilege for the people who can actually do it. But try at least to do something related to your passion, and or maybe make your work out of your passion, and that's something that that keeps you going. Personally, I am not going to stop ever. If I get arthritis, I'm going to sing. If I lose my voice, I'm going to play or tap. I don't know. I know I'm going to continue doing music. That's what I do. And in the industry, sorry, I have to add, the industry, I really don't like the worst part about music for me is the industry. It's a very horrible, it's a mob. It's not just, and it's not fair, and it's not honest. So when I was growing up, I decided I don't want to get there. I don't want to be there. If I get there, it's because they're going to like my music and they're going to say, okay, come. If not, I'm not frustrated anymore. I I don't want to be famous. I know, because that implies a lot of things that I really don't like, that are not me, that are I don't know it. So I think you need to measure your success with your own standards and with whatever you want to do, right? And that's another base in life, I think.
But one thing that you have achieved, and people maybe are not aware, is a transformation on how music is done, especially in the south of Mexico. You have made a lot of connections, created spaces for other people that were not there when you were growing up, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, as a musician, I've always tried to find spaces to play, right? So when I started to have the opportunity, and I said, okay, I can do this. I can organize gigs. I can organize festivals. This is not hard, right? I mean, it's hard work, but it's not hard to do. It's just having the will and the right, as you say, the right connections, and so I started creating spaces for musicians. I had a radio show for 4 years that played only local music, and eventually they shut down the radio show because they said, you only play local music. And I said, yes, so you need to play other music. Okay, no, so you don't come with me anymore. And I decided to leave, because that's not what I wanted to do. That's what other radio programs do, right? And I have created spaces for people to come and play their music, no covers. And maybe that's something controversial, and it has caused a lot of drama here. But that's what I think we should be doing: promoting local artists, promoting local products. And I have organized festivals with international bands, and I see that the same is being done in other places in the world. So why not be the one who do it in your surroundings, right?
Okay, I'm going to open the floor now because I know you too well to keep asking questions. So I'm going to give the team a chance if they want.
So,
Don't be shy.
Rodrigo, I had a question. Braulio, I had a question. The hair. I have an 18-year-old son, and he went to college, and his hair is starting to look very suspiciously just like yours, right? So, what are the tips, right? And what are the benefits of having long hair?
I think long hair is not for everybody,
Right.
but like everything, right? A mohawk is not for everybody. This is a family thing. Rodrigo has had long hair. My father has had long hair. All my uncles some time had long hair. So I wouldn't know, because I cannot be objective. This is more like a heritage thing. But
Right.
I can say this: in my family, they let me be. They let me be, and I grew up to be, I think, a good person, a good, healthy person. I'm still alive. I do not do a lot of things that musicians are supposed to do. So I think just if he wants to have his hair pink, as I did sometimes some years ago, maybe just let it.
So two more questions. One is, have you negotiated a shampoo allowance from Paula, right? And then two, have you sort of examined the whole hereditary role? Because what I keep telling my son is, baldness skips a generation, right? So have you looked into that?
Yeah, fortunately, there's no baldness in my family.
Right.
So,
okay, good. Okay.
But having long hair can help you actually cover baldness. So that's and the shampoo thing, maybe I should. Yeah, I will start talking about that. Thank you for
the sponsorship.
Are you gonna play a song for us?
Rodrigo basically asked me to. I was not thinking about it because I'm too shy. That's very weird. I'm still very shy and I get very nervous. I say that I always.
I have
Wait,
a
how
guitar
do you
player
feel
here,
seriously
so
shy?
they can. Yeah.
I didn't
Right,
get that.
so what are you going to play?
Okay, so I'm going to play a new song. This is how do you say? A brand. What?
The debut, a premiere.
Yeah, premiere. Yes, that's the word that I was looking for. This is actually a song that I recently wrote, and it's called "¿Qué diré hoy?", which means what will I say today, or what would I say today? And it's actually about what we were talking about. It's like all of us that are here, we are very privileged just by the fact that we have a computer or a phone listening to this, to be here. And all of you, all of us, we had the opportunity to study a career, to study architecture, interiors, music, production, whatever. So what are we doing with that, right? Are we just doing, as Paula was saying the other day in the design meeting, are we doing the same love song? Are we doing the same design, the same interior design always? Or are we going to pay attention on the context and try to send a better message to the opportunity that we have, right? Everybody here is on a stage. Every time we design something, we're on a stage. And if you do the same logo, the same illustration, the same blast, always it's going to be like, okay, it's the same song that I have always heard, right? That song about I cannot live without you, which is a very, I think, not the healthiest message to send around. So I'm going to sing this song. It's in Spanish. I didn't have time to translate it, and I don't know if it would have sounded good, but I am still going to sing it. And I can just translate the lyrics later. Maybe Rodrigo can doing the subtitles as we speak. So I hope you can hear me well. If I mess up, probably you won't notice, but I will, so I will get extra nervous. So this is it. Otra mañana en que amanezco calientito, bajo este techo que se siente muy seguro, y una muy alta probabilidad de desayunar. La verdad es que la tuve fácil, madre más padre que me amaron sin desgaste, y un berrinche ocasional por su sobrepreocupación. No sé, solía hablar de lo que nadie suele hablar. Entre tanta analogía se siente surreal. Muy poca suerte hay en tener una guitarra, como en tener el tiempo y en tener la fuerza para cantar. Tengo acceso a un mundo de información. Si me distraigo en tonterías es por disperso. Tengo el privilegio de elegir lo que me gusta o no. Doy un giro a la derecha y a la izquierda y digo con cinismo son la misma cosa. pero a quien peor le fue yo ni me enteré. Porque no se suele hablar de lo que nadie suele hablar. Tatuado en el concreto es fácil de borrar. Muy poca suerte hay en tener una guitarra, como en tener aliento y en tener las ganas para cantar. Y digo, ¿qué diré hoy? Internet en el celular no nos hace inteligentes si ante el género y color hay libertades diferentes. ¿De qué valió tanta exploración al espacio interestelar si aún guardamos en secreto los terrores del hogar? Y salgamos a amar a quien queramos amar y recemos al santo a quien queramos rezar. Somos lo que comemos, descargamos y escondemos, al final es tu vida. Échala a volar, pero no, si con el aire con el que vuelas es aliento de alguien más. Y que no muera más, por Dios, que no muera ni una lengua más. Hay un alto genocidio en sentarse a ignorar. Y que no muera más por ti, que no muera nunca nadie más. Para querer quemarlo todo y así podamos recordar. Y debemos de hablar de lo que nadie suele hablar. Se le salga de control tener tanto a quien callar. Muy pero muy poca suerte hay en tener una guitarra, como en tener el tiempo y en tener la fuerza, en tener aliento y en tener las ganas para cantar. Y dime qué dirás hoy.
That was beautiful. Braulio, I just want to say, I had a flashback to when I was a teenager listening to a Mexican group called El Tri.
Claro.
Yes. So you sounded like that, so that's awesome. Congrats. This is great.
Thank you very much. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I will translate the lyrics. Why not? I think it's a good lyric. Why not?
I will do it. Don't worry. I will set it up.
It was really good. The lyrics are really nice.
Thank you very much.
I really liked the part of the genocidio by not talking. That was really good. I really liked it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I think it's very important as a musician on a stage to be talking about whatever is happening out there, right? And I mean, this applies for everybody. Yes, we need to understand the context of where we are and work like with that on our minds. Yeah, thank you very much. I get nervous.
Excellent job.
It's been a privilege for me to have the chance to actually interview you. You know, I admire you, and I think you have a lot of strength to continue and compose and work on this. And thank you, everyone. Any more questions before we wrap it up?
All right.
Have a good
So
one.
I just had one last quick thing, since you need to send us, some sort of video of you playing or a picture, because your brother sent us a picture of him in a ballet outfit. So you gotta top that.
I have very good ones. I have very good photos there.
Okay.
YouTube videos. Come on.
Yes, of course. I can send the links to my music. I'm Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, wherever. I'm there, so you can listen to my band and you can listen to me. And I'm going to release my new album, I hope, early 2022. So
for the staff in Mexico, he's He's going to be in Mexico next week, right? Or this week?
What? Sorry?
You're going to be live in Mexico
yeah.
City.
For the ones who live in Mexico City, I'm going to actually play next Tuesday in Bajo Circuito. That's the name of the forum. I can also send you the information. Yeah. So yeah.
Let us know. Remind us or let us know where we can buy tickets.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's free.
Can go.
It's free mezcal actually. That's it. Sold.
I mean.
Braulio, this is Dennis.
We-
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm driving.
Oh yes, I can.
Okay, great. I do appreciate very much what you were talking about, originality of your craft, and also looking to other musicians for just learning. And it sounds a lot like architecture.
Yes.
And I was thinking very hard the last couple of days because we worked very hard as a team on a project and we lost. And the winning architecture, I can now comfortably describe as cover band architecture.
Yes. Yes.
So it makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. If you do whatever everybody is doing, you're gonna get more opportunities, but you're not going to be feeling good about yourself, I think.
That is all.
Okay, this is
That
all
works.
for this edition of Moya Talks. Been great. And please join us next week because we have also a very special guest.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.